to a new week, and once again, I bring you the history of sports in Ghana. Today, we'll be looking at the Second Republic, and I hope you would have some learning experience today. In the past week, I had a look at Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in the First Republic, and today I'll be looking at the turn of events in the Second Republic and the various or the key sports strategy adopted and during this time. So let's get started. I hope you're ready. Well, soon after the overthrow of Kwame Nkrumah as president, the 1969 Constitution of the Republic was enacted, and Dr. Abrefa Buzia was elected the prime minister. Dr. Buzia was the first African student at the Oxford University, and he was the chairman at the time of the United Party. And that was the amalgamation of all the various parties that couldn't operate because of the Discrimination Act. That was Discrimination Avoidance Act. I beg your pardon, I'm not too sure. That was passed by Kwame Nkrumah to prevent, all tribalistic or tribals from forming political parties. So, knowing very well that they are unable to form parties on tribal lines, all the parties came together to form the United Party, and Dr. Buzia was the chairman at the time. But he himself, for the better part of Nkrumah's time, was not in Ghana, as some people believe he was expelled from the period. But it's important to know that the United Party later became the Progress Party based on a recommendation of Professor Eduboahene of blessed memory. In any case, the constitution assigned that's the new constitution of the 1969, assigned real executive position to the prime minister, and the presidency was assigned a nominal executive position. These are terms that, if you're interested, you can read more about it. But after grappling with the woes of the economy for 27 months in office, a 1969 constitution was suspended, and Dr. Buzia was ousted as the president. Why was he ousted? He was ousted and he suffered the same fate as Dr. Nkrumah. It's important for us it's worth mentioning that while Nkrumah was socialist in his ideologies, Dr. Buzia was quite capitalistic. He introduced various reforms, brought back the foreign capital investment in the various industries in Ghana, something that Nkrumah had expelled at the time. So, having gained popularity and support from the people by reversing Buzia's unfavorable austerity measures, General Ignatius Kutu Achampon, I think he was a colonel at the time, together with other high-ranked military officers, decided to introduce full military rule in 1975 by forming the Supreme Military Council. And the Supreme Military Council, let's note this very well, and these were characterized by military ideologies and principles, quite militaristic in nature. The Supreme Military Council, like the previous administration, was undermined by high inflation, high taxes, hunger, and protest across the country, and subsequently a counter-coup was staged by junior-ranked army officers led by Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings of blessed memory. He passed away some few months ago. So this gives the political bedrock of the Second Republic, and we see various fashions. The introduction of democratic elected president, and then there was a coup and then a counter coup. So let's look at the sports strategy or strategies adopted during the Second Republic and then by the Supreme Military Council as well, for us to understand and to also know the state of sports during this time. So the Second Republic accepted many of the reforms introduced under the National Liberation Council Decree 330 that I mentioned in my first Republic video, and then subsequently accorded oversight responsibility for sports to the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports. Then this marked the first time sports was attached to the government ministry. It's important to mention that sports was formally or officially attached to a government ministry. However, this reform was short-lived. Following the formation of the Supreme Military Council, the Sports Act SMC, that's the Supreme Military Council Decree 54 of 1976, was enacted, and it became the first detailed sports legislation in Ghana. So it's important to know that first detailed legislation in Ghana, but during the colonial time, the Ordinance 14 of 1952 had also set the pace. So this would then follow, but this was more detailed in the military time. So the SMCD, I would mention this SMC decree 54 of 1976, SMC. The SMCD is worth mentioning that stood the test of time. It was not until 2016 that it was replaced. And I will speak about this when I get to the Fourth Republic. In any case, the Sports Act created the National Sports Council, which is now called the National Sports Authority, in 1976, with the responsibility to handle matters of sports as well as to report directly to the head of state. And so you see, even though there is a ministry and sports is attached to the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sport, the head of state, who was the military leader, has had full control in the running and administration of sports. The National Sports Council was mandated to organize, promote, develop, and provide financial support to amateur and professional associations. Subsequently, a substantive Ministry of Sport was headed by a Commissioner for Sports who was formed in 1978 and charged to have oversight of sports development in Ghana and also report directly to the head of state. So as you can see, sport was now detached from the Ministry of Education, Culture, and Sports to form a new and substantive sports ministry. But then once again, this was controlled by the head of state at the time. Eventually, the National Sports Council became a unit under the Ministry of Sports. From 1979, a minister was assigned to the Ministry of Sports, and this has been the norm to date. It is, however, important to mention that Legal Instrument 1088 was passed to empower the Minister of Sports under the Section 42, subsection 2A and B of the SMC Decree 54 of 1976 to regulate and oversee the political process and programs of the national sports associations. So you see, again, there is a full control of the national sports associations. And again, in the Fourth Republic, this legal instrument 1088 was replaced to give the national sports associations full responsibility, full control over the activities. This would also be discussed in the Fourth Republic, in the Fourth Republic, when probably next week or next 2 weeks. So though the SMC era was fraught with a troubled and fragile economy, Ghana still hosted and won the African Cup of Nations in 1978. So it's been like a trend that football has always been part of the political agenda, be it a militaristic or a democratic elected government in the history of Ghana into football. And Ghana still hosted and won the African Cup of Nations in 1978. So basically, in a nutshell, this is what transpired in the Second Republic, given the political background and then the sports strategies that ensued. So for those who are interested, those who are keen to know about sports in Ghana and how this has turned out to be, you can rewatch this video or look down there. I leave a link where you can read into detail and the history of sports in Ghana. So on that note, like I always say, the past is still relevant as the present. And once you have an understanding of these two, then you are able to make a better prediction for the future. Thank you so much, and thank you for being so loyal, and hope to see you in my next video, which talks about the Third Republic of Ghana. On that note, have a blessed time.